Oh, that's fine.
Thank you all. Let's see, we have Carl Pruitt remote on the telephone, I believe.
Yes,
Awesome.
Carl Kruger here and calling from Acadia, Maine.
Carl's in his tent, he's with a bear. What I need to do at this point is, in order to let Carl participate remotely, we need approval from the two selectmen present. I have no objection to that at all.
I have no objection.
Carl, you're approved to participate in the meetings. By doing so, all of the votes that we cast tonight have to be by roll call. So I need to get that understanding with the three select board members, that when we take any votes, our names will be stated and we'll cast our vote. All right, selectmen's announcements. Carl, do you have any?
Yeah, I have one. It's a bit long. Basically, we had a previous meeting where, and basically, it was on the importance of volunteers. Basically, this town runs volunteers for events, and the work of committees, beautification, you see flowers anywhere, it's with volunteers. I made the announcements for our Family Fun Festival, which is celebrating the 4th of July. I thanked the rec department participation and totally overlooked mentioning the Chamber of Commerce. Not only were they the primary organizers of the event and contributed to and raised money for the fireworks, their members put in many extra volunteer hours needed to organize and man the booth. They organized parking, submitted the permit, secured vendors, solicited donations. I think the tone of our celebration this year was probably higher than it had been before, and mainly thanks to their work. We also, when I drove up, I saw the fire department and highway department posting signs for this event. I think Victoria in the town office painted some of those signs, and it's just been a whole town effort, and everyone needs to be acknowledged, and I need to do a better job when I'm making my announcements. So my apologies to anyone I overlooked, but this is important.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
Tom, do you have any announcements?
I don't have anything at this time.
All right, let me just piggyback on Carl. Carl mentioned that the town depends on volunteerism in order to run events and do anything. This whole state does that. For the most part, our state representatives get compensated by $100 per year, as our state senators do. It's a volunteer task. I'm compensated by a stipend larger than, unfortunately, the state representative gets, who I'm looking at right now. But it's basically a volunteer system within the entire state. In order to operate this state, the House of Representatives and its Senate, it needs volunteers to do that. They expend a lot of time, they do a lot of work. They raise a lot of money just to run for a job that pays $100. They'll go out and spend $100,000 to get a job that pays $100 per year.
Senators.
I'd like to thank them again too.
State senators.
I had two announcements. School deliberative session, as I announce all the time, is in early February of 2025. Be there or be square. And I would like to thank the fire department, the highway department, and the police department for their response on July 16th to some storms that we had. I was not even in the state at the time, didn't know the storms occurred. Apparently we had a lot of trees come down, there was a lot of chaos within the town itself. Unbeknownst to a lot of people in town, we had no 911 system for a short period of time. So the fire and the police departments were working via radios, etc., and walkie-talkies. Also during that time, when 911 was down, there was no dispatch service. The radio service also was down to dispatch people. So our fire department police department and highway department work together, coordinated in person, face to face, and they carried out their duties regardless of not having those services. So I'd like to thank them. That's it for my announcements. I've got a consent agenda. I have the payroll and accounts payable. I believe the dates on this, Laura, should be 7/18 and 8/01, 2024, despite what it might say. So 7/18 and August 1st, 2024, the accounts payable and payroll, and the minutes are for 7/03. Carl, I assume you had a chance to read those by now?
I have, they were sent to me by Victoria, thank you.
Very good. 7/03, 2024, and 7/17, 2024 for the minutes. I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Bob, I've read them also.
Tom seconded. Can I take a-
Carl, I have not read or seen the accounts payable and payroll for 8/1.
Do you want these tabled until next month?
I would prefer, actually, if you guys have checked it out, I'm good with that, and I will sustain on that one, but I will vote on the others.
Okay, I'll separate that so you can vote on that separately. And just let you
Yeah,
know.
thank you.
Just let you know, Kyle, that that's one of the accounts payable that has a bill for $1,215,000.
Was that for the school board?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's a good guess. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out, let you know, because I would have pointed it out anyway. So the motion is to accept the payroll and accounts payable for 7/18/2024, the minutes for 7/03/2024, and the minutes for 7/17/2024. That's the amended motion. Tom, do you still second
I'll
that?
second that.
Yep.
All right, so this is minus 801, Kyle.
Carl, aye.
Tom, aye.
And Bob Hamilton, aye. Now I'll make a motion to accept the accounts payable for August 1st, 2024. That's my motion on that. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, I've looked at it, pretty routine. I'll go through it more.
Got a second by Tom, Kyle.
That was August 1st, right, Bob?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, this one
Okay, all those in favor?
right here. Tom, Combs, aye.
Bob Hamilton, aye.
Carl Kruger abstain.
Trying to keep notes on this, Kyle, because we're doing voice votes.
Yep.
All right, new business. We have elderly exemptions. One was filed late. The board had extended the period to file the exemptions for the seniors to September 20th, and one more was filed since then and accepted. Laurie, was that map 2 lot 59?
Yep, 59T108. Yep.
All right. So, I'll make a
Point of order,
motion.
please. Citizens forum skipped over.
All right, we can get to that in a second. Kyle typically likes to do it at 6:15, but you're right, we can do it anytime. You're correct. So I'll make a motion to accept the elderly exemption approval for map 2, lot 59, T108. I don't know what that is, but what is it?
Co-op.
Oh, okay. All right, so that's my motion.
I'm sorry, I can't recognize it by map lot number, but is this one that I had seen before I left?
This one just came in yesterday, Carl.
Well, no, I can't vote on this then. So go ahead.
Do I have a second on the motion?
I'll second it, I looked it over today, or yesterday.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Tom Coney's aye.
Tom is aye. Bob Hamilton, aye. Kyle Pruder?
Carl Kruder abstain.
Abstain.
Carl Kruder abstain.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
One more thing. We should have done the old business first. Special event permit. Let's try and get through this quickly. It's an ice cream social that's being held on August 20. Find the date.
Is it the 28th, is it the top somewhere?
26th.
26th, right?
August 26th. It's an ice cream on the common, on the green. I assume that means the town common. It's a meet,
5:30 or something?
meet and mingle. No, I believe it starts at 4. It ends at 5:30 p.m. This is being put on by the Ridge Democratic Committee. We got this a little bit late. Typically, we demand a 30-day leeway, but it's been brought forward and it's been signed off on by the fire department and the police department. My only question is, it's really a campaign event. Is this something that the town will sponsor on the common? I have no problem with doing it this time, but we open it up to any party at all. I mean, any party at all. This could be parties that we know, the Democratic Party fine, the Republican Party fine, the Libertarians fine, then we can have the Communists, we can have the Socialists, we can have whichever party wants to come in, the Green Party, et cetera, et cetera. If we make a grant on this one, for this year anyway, we need to grant it for every party that we wish to do so. Like I said, at this point in time, I have no objection to it. I just want to point that out to Tom and Carl. If we want to move forward in this, I'd like a motion on that to approve the special events application.
Bob, the meeting house gets used for the Republican Party, so I mean, that's a public space.
Gets used by a couple of parties, but those are private meetings. Those persons have a meeting that are private, so they're invitees. They invite specific people. So it's a private meeting that's being used for that purpose.
They still have to ask permission to do it, so
Yeah, and they do.
that's what these people do.
Then I'm asking for a motion on that. So,
Can I ask a question, please?
Chair, why don't we get a motion, see if we get a motion before we have discussion on that. Do I have a motion to approve the special events permit as described? Kyle or Tom?
I'll make a motion to
Well-
accept it.
Go ahead, Tom.
I'll make a motion to accept the special permit. I mean, like, it's a public space, I think it should be open to the public to use.
Do I have a second on the motion?
I share your concerns, Bob, about opening it up to, in terms of a public space for everybody. But I will second that.
All right, I appreciate that. I would have seconded it anyway, Kyle. I
Yeah.
think at least this is the first time this type of thing has come before us, so I really don't know.
Right.
And it came in late. It
Right.
came in this afternoon, so. And the event is gonna happen, and I don't want to delay the event because of my not
Right.
knowing the answer. So I'll call for a vote, and now first I'll vote. Bob Hamilton, aye.
Tom Coney's
Carl
aye.
Kruder, aye.
Tom Coney's aye.
So we've got 3 ayes. Thank you all.
Thank you.
What we should do, Laurie, is look into this and ask,
I just want, I think that,
This application was put in on the 23rd of July, so I mean,
I think we
it's a
actually
month
have an
early.
application in the town office because we rent out the meeting house. I think we actually have an application to rent the common. So I think maybe we should, I can get Jeff, look on a computer, I'm pretty sure there's an
they're a
application.
nonprofit organization, there's no need to rent.
Yeah. It would just be like for insurance purposes or whatever.
I did have a comment on this. Can you state your name,
Kellen
please?
Geiger, I guess I have a question. I mean, how many people are they expecting? Do we need to have any police involved as far as getting people in and out? I mean, most of the time we have an
No.
idea of how many people, if the police need to be, you know, helping with traffic control, that type of thing. Has any of that been discussed? And I'm
Yes.
just curious how many people.
Any of the special events permits go through the police department and the
Okay.
fire department before they're brought to us. If there's a requirement for detail officers, et cetera, then that is brought forward by the police or the fire departments to the groups. They're not needed. What actually is needed, is required, is 4 cones.
Okay.
So that's all the special equipment needed, as far as I can see, in this application.
That's what it would look like. They're gonna just use the duty
Yep.
people that demonstrate.
Yeah. Even if we're not granting permission, they could probably show up there anyway and give away ice cream. I don't think we'd kick anybody out, but, so that, I appreciate the question, I appreciate the comments and all. We'll have to look into it, Laurie. Hopefully they'll just say that we did the right thing. It would be nice. Now, let's get to we'll call it 6:15, which Carl likes to start Citizens Forum. How many people do we have interested in Citizens Forum tonight? Just raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we'll kind of try to limit this and keep it down to like 3 minutes per person. Only because we'll try and get through this in 15 minutes. I'm resurrecting something that we've used in the past and I'll read before. Citizens Forum. It's notes on Citizens Forum, rules of order. The time constraints are going to try to be limited to 15 minutes total for Citizens Forum. We'll make it 3 minutes per person, shorter if possible, 10 minutes. I'll make it 5 minutes for a group spokesman whose remarks will serve the entire group. Speak when called upon. State your name each time you speak, please. Direct your comments to the chairman. There will be no, actually, I'm the vice chairman. Hal Pruder, who is not present, is the chair. So I'm acting chair for tonight. So I won't claim to have that title anymore. One person speaks at a time. That's very important. No personal attacks on other members of the public. This sort of comment is not part of the business of the board. Citizens Forum is not a question and answer or a debate session. As New Hampshire law guarantees the right of the public to be present in all meetings, but that does not guarantee the right to speak. If public comment is allowed on an agenda item, then the board is obligated to allow all points of view to be expressed, and that's only if any public comment is allowed. Comments can be limited to those relevant to the agenda item. Excessive repetition can be limited. Those are old rules, just revive them for one meeting, I guess. All right, Judy had her hand up first.
No, I didn't know.
Craig.
Craig did. Craig?
Craig Clark, Fitzgerald Road and Red. With regards to this social that's going to occur shortly, and your comments with regards to if we let them do it, we're going to have to let other people do it. That's the essence of democracy. And to try and stifle that would open the town up for a lawsuit from whatever group can try to deny them to have a permit for an event. So I caution you to be very careful what you say about that, because if, say, the Wiccans wanted to have something in the town of Ringe, and we have Wiccans in Ringe, they should be allowed to have it. So if you were to say no, that opens the town up to a lawsuit. So that's what I urge you to consider with your statement.
Right. I'll just rebut that and say that we do not live in a democracy, we live in a constitutional republic. All right?
With regards to that, that's irrelevant to the point.
And no, it is relevant, very relevant.
I disagree.
All right, fine. Thank you for your statement. Who else wanted to speak? Back here.
Ronnie Hamilton, I have 2 First, I just want to either thank Mike or remove the big bush in front of the Ringe Memorial. So now you can see the memorial from the street. The big bush has been removed. I don't know if the veterans did it, or I don't know if Mike did it. Okay, then I thank you for that. Thank you. That was one. So now I'll give you another 3 minutes. Okay? Ready?
2.5 minutes, go.
What I have to say is about accountability, and basically this is for Tom and Laurie and Carl. Yes, I want to talk about accountability for a moment, which there seems to be lacking lately. And it was rumored, or hearsay, if you will, that the last meeting that Mr. Cleveland was videotaping, that it bothered Laurie and Tom. And I don't care if that's true or not. I don't care. However, Tom, you then went to the zoning board meeting and videotaped that meeting. And around the 32, 33 mark, you announced that you were there as a citizen. However, you spoke as a selectman. You said to the zoning board, come to the selectman board, we'll talk about it, blah, blah, blah. The accountability comes in your posting it. You posted it as the town of Ringe, which I have a picture of that. You need to repost that as Tom Coney, the citizen, or if you want to repost it as Tom Coney, the selectman, which is a bad idea, but do so. It had nothing to do with the town of Ringe. But you and you alone should take accountability and responsibility for what you said on that video, and not the town of Ringe. You do not want to bring the other two selectmen down to your level in doing this. So bad judgment once again. However, I do see your camera there again tonight. So has that been passed by the board? Or if you post that, you better post it as Tom Coney and not the town of Ringe. Thank you.
Thank you for the comments, Ronnie. That's two. I had 3 more people that wanted to speak. Sir.
Larry Cleveland, Southwood bound. Is there any way that we can get the agenda for these meetings out sooner? I think 9 to 10 hours before the meeting is just, it's not acceptable. People don't have time to plan to see what's on that meeting. They're already at work, and they have no idea what's going to be on that meeting. I don't think 48 hours before the meeting is something unheard of or should be asked for. I think doing it 9 to 10 hours before the meeting it just doesn't give people enough to prepare. And my second point is, I have 2 things. Second point is, the last meeting I was at, I remember you, Bob, saying that we were like 130% over our welfare budget. And I don't know if anyone's seen the line at the food bank down here on Thursdays, but it's lined. I've lived here my entire 60 years. I've never seen it lined out on in the breakdown lane. That shows how many people are hurting in this town. Okay, so at the last meeting, Tom, you started saying how you want to keep track of, you know, the expenditures of our department heads, and we have to keep track of how much money they're spending and so forth and so on, which on its face looks good, right? Great, you're going to see how much we're spending, we're going to try to save some money here. But out the other corner of your mouth, you gave a $16,600 raise to an employee that's contract wasn't up and never even had a performance review. That's what's being discussed for this building is several $1,000s for a air handler unit for the town office for air handling it here. I know a little bit about that because we have several of them where I work. You're looking to hire a paid minutes taker for $25 an hour for the zoning board, which you don't even control. Okay, you're part of this board, not the zoning board. You're talking about a new safety complex for, I'm guessing, minimum $10 million. 16 years ago it was $4 million. By now it's got to be at least $10 million for a safety complex. Okay, software system to create POs. How much is that going to cost? And then streaming service for the meetings. I guess you won't want to. I have no problem doing, filming this and putting it out to the public. But how much is that streaming going to cost? So one side of the table, you're talking about saving money, and you're going to need employees that aren't even close to spending over their budget that we voted on for them to spend. And then out the other corner of your mouth, you're talking about spending literally millions and millions of dollars in this town. So you're trying to save money, you're trying to spend money. I just don't get where you're coming from. I don't get it. That's my whole point.
Thank you. No comments.
Mr. Hamilton?
And I have five people.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's Ron.
Okay, hi, Ron Osmo from Thomas Road. This is on the safety complex. I've been working with it with Ryan Hyde from the state. It's and I passed these out 2 weeks ago. The Communities Facility Direct Loan and Grant Program, which gives community support services such as fire departments, police stations, prisons, police vehicles, fire trucks, works vehicles or equipment, plus many of the other community support services, child care centers, community centers, blah, blah, educational services, museums, libraries, private schools, fertility services, telemedicine or distant learning equipment, local food systems, community gardens, food pantries, stuff like that, and a whole list of it. It's a low interest direct loan, so it's a grant, and a low interest direct loan and stuff like that. He has asked to come up and sit down and talk to some of the people that we're starting to work on this. And I know we're trying to get a committee formed later on. People talked about it and see what we can get and how it is. There's a lot of things that, you go into those facilities and stuff like that, that is really not up to speed and all that. One's done in 1990. Post office, the other one's 1952, 1956 fire station. Big thing on cancers and that stuff like that from the fires and all that stuff. Big things in the the police station of the whole mildew stuff that's in the attic. You can't even go up there. The cells, you don't have capacity or things for not grants, but for investigations and stuff like that. We have an area that we can put compounded vehicles and stuff like that in. We have to keep them down in Jaffrey and all that stuff. The dressing rooms between male, female, bathrooms and stuff like that, the water system. Hey, these people daily risk their lives for this town. And these buildings are falling apart and stuff like that. I think it's just time to go after these grants and see how much we can get, stuff like that. And if we have to do a low-cost loan that would go out for many, many, many years from the government, and we'll see what happens. That's all I have to say.
Can I ask you one? When you do speak to those people, find out if we even qualify, there's something about an income level for the
There's an
average.
income level, and there's there's population in under 20,000, but not 20,000.
Yeah, so,
And there is an
so we
income
qualify.
located in rural areas with a population of 12,000 and fewer.
Yeah, so that would pay 50%.
All that stuff like that.
But we have to see if we qualify.
Well,
under the
yeah,
income.
we got about $90,000 people, for their salaries and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. They're very good, and him and Bob Kramer from Senator Hassan's office is also working on it, so,
Thank you, Roy.
okay. Just one more.
I have this lady here.
So my name is Angela Dentisano. I'm a citizen of Ringe. So I was just wondering, since you're building all these new buildings, can you guys build a beach?
Build a what?
I mean,
We don't have any property.
you're talking millions of dollars for buildings, and all the buildings to me look great. But can we just have a small beach somewhere? I don't know who I'm supposed to ask for that.
some people are speaking
Grassy Pond,
Yeah.
of
Pool Pond.
spending millions. I think there's only one public access into waters. Two, they're probably not an access you would want to use.
Yeah.
It's loaded with quite a lot of leeches.
Oh,
Yeah.
Everly.
Yep.
That's Franklin Pierce.
No, not Franklin Pierce, I'm talking the small grassy.
Oh,
Grass.
Pool Pond.
Yeah. But anyway, there's no availability of land for sale. The state guarantees that there's public access onto every public waterway, public large ponds they call it. Yet they guarantee it under law, but they don't provide it. In fact, there should be a boat launch on every single large pond in town.
I think it's a size requirement.
Yeah, that's, the large pond comes in. And they don't have that either, so they're guaranteed, but the state doesn't provide any monies to do so. And there is no land for sale for beaches. Unless anybody wants to donate some
Front.
there was, if you've got kids and they're part of the rec department's camp programs during the summer,
Yeah.
they allow access at, what do they call it?
Camp Starfish.
Camp Starfish. Down at there, but they have a lake front property where kids can swim.
Okay.
So if they're part of the program within the recreation department, they bring them down there. They used to bring them down there almost every day. They used to have a bike parade by my house every day as they drove by. There'd be 20, 30 bikes driving down to the beach. Now they bring them down by bus. But they do have access, at least that way, the kids do, not we adults. Sorry,
Mhm. Thanks.
you're welcome. Unless you want to buy land or donate it.
I'm sorry, who was the last speaker? I missed the name.
Could you state your name
Oh,
again?
Angela Dentisano, I want a beach. Thanks.
Angela.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Angel. Melissa, sorry, I have one comment, just on this topic.
No, just a comment. What about Franklin Pierce? Don't they still allow access?
Yes,
On,
yes, you
On
can go to
Curly.
Franklin Pierce.
Do they, down at Lakeview?
They
On
changed their whole
University.
water frontage there, I think,
It looks nice, actually. You can swim
they
there.
don't have a dock there anymore.
We'll check it out, thank you.
All right, it's on University Drive as you head towards Franklin Pierce College. It'll be on your left-hand side. There's a building right down on the waterfront. They call that the Lakeview Building. Now, that's what I'm told is open for people to use. Okay, I had one more on the Judy, agenda number 5.
Same topic, maybe someone on the town gown committee could get confirmation from Franklin Pierce that they still provide that access to townspeople. Bob?
I will do that if we can get somebody that's appointed from the college onto the town gown as an official representative. Where they had a structural change within the college. Nobody has actually been formally put onto the town gown committee from the college. They actually do not have one singular person. They're sending two, and I hear that next month, Laurie, possibly the president's gonna show up, so we can ask him,
Cool,
the
thank
new
you.
president. Judy?
Okay, to the younger part, just to Angela's comment. Yes, you can swim at Franklin Pierce. I mean, I guess I shouldn't really say that, but it's been a beach for all the years that we've been here. And our rec program, many, many years ago, had swimming lessons at that beach until a child got a leech. And that ended the swimming lessons at Franklin Pierce Beach.
Cool.
So, okay, second comment. Bob, you read rules of order for citizens forum. Could you please pull those out again?
Sure.
As it pertains to personal attacks, please read.
No personal attacks on other members of the public.
of the public, okay. Well, I heard personal attacks tonight, and I guess those were on elected officials and the TA. Maybe we need to add personal attacks in that category. And in some ways, I would like a copy of those rules of order.
These are not official rules of order, these
Where
rules
did
of
they come
order.
from, sir?
It came from a former selectman who gave me a copy of them, who ran his meetings very tightly.
And why were they read tonight?
Because I did them when I was the chair also, before. I read these rules every time when I was chair last.
Okay,
And I'm doing it again as I am temporary or acting chair tonight.
okay.
Bob, can I share something?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm Carl Kruger here. I had also started off the year when I became chair with those same rules. I wanted to reiterate them. I should have been reading it pretty much every meeting, but I don't think it's necessary, all the time. But I appreciate your reading them out and making it clear that we're having a civil presentation and hopefully not get personal. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Hal had asked, had we ever done these before, and I was given a copy of these rules, and I asked for them.
I would like a copy for my records, Bob,
And I gave them,
at the end of the
I
meeting.
gave them to Kyle, most certainly. He had them, I thought I sent them to all. So, yeah, I'll send you a copy.
Thank you.
And they maybe should be posted somewhere for the public then.
These are not official rules. These are up to the chair, individual chairs, how they run their meeting.
Okay.
If Kyle or Tom decide not to run a meeting with those particular rules, then they don't have to be. They're not official.
May I, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
The citizens are allowed to say whatever they want by RSA. And if they want to throw darts at me, let them go right ahead, because I don't hear any positive comment. All I hear is negative. And they are allowed to say whatever they want about any member of this table by law. So, have at it.
And that's only under citizens forum,
That's correct.
because we allow citizens forum to, we provide a time frame for which the citizens can give input. But other than that, as was pointed out, and as NHMA also very often points out, these are public meetings, but that doesn't mean they're a meeting of the public. The public doesn't have a right to speak at them unless granted the right to speak. And citizen forum is that grant. I want to move along, and I don't want to be repetitive. I've already gone on 15 minutes. I think I've afforded everybody their 3 minutes anyway. I think I'm 5 minutes over. So I'd really like to end citizens forum. If you have comments for me afterwards or any of the board members, please provide them to me. I'll accept them. I'll get them anyway by phone calls. One way or another, I'm gonna hear it. Thank you all, I appreciate it. It's all it is. Well, we went through the new business already, that was kind of out of order. Old business is next on the list here, and this is a big question on what this actually means. Purchase of donated TV for conference room. So it's a donated TV that we're gonna purchase. Somebody want to address this topic?
Carl?
Yes, Carl Kruger. We had at a prior meeting, we had agreed to, we had basically, it's an exception of the donation, which we had voted on and accepted the TV from the Historical Society in memory of Amy Raymond. Also, Bob wanted to, when we set the last meeting to move ahead, Bob had wanted to have some input on that, so we did not go ahead and purchase it at the time. And perhaps it's a question of where it's intended to be put, input in terms of where it could be installed that I feel that could be discussed in public. But in any case, I'd like to move forward with the purchase, and then we can share what the primary location that was identified and other options that were also identified in terms of where to install it. I can't really run that discussion from here, but I'll let other people put input. My original idea was to put it in the corner by the fire extinguisher so it could fold out at a 45-degree angle so that the room could see it, including the select board, and it also would be out of the way so it wouldn't be damaged. I know under the heating system, air conditioning system, it's got warm and cold air flowing on it. These are plasma screen TVs. It could be bumped by somebody moving water in their closet, and I felt that was a little less safe location, and that is where they installed the whiteboard. I think that's my input.
All right, Carl, I don't recall a vote specifically accepting this. I think the last time this was discussed was because you had authorized the purchase of a TV without having discussed it with the board.
Correct. And we sent that back.
Correct.
So Victoria had looked up, purchased the TV on my say-so, which was inappropriate. The board should have been involved in that. And so we sent it back. And then we set it up for another vote. And as I recall, it was voted for 2-1 to accept this donation again. And then we're basically send up to $1,000 of the donation, or the amount of the, up to the amount of the donation to purchase it. And someone may have the words there or from the minutes. Lori, do you have any input on that?
Yes, you are correct. They did make a motion to accept the donation, which was a check for $1,000 from the, Carla's holding up her finger. Hold on.
No, the check was for like $977.
Okay.
Because we
That's
paid for the
correct.
first TV, but we can make up the difference up to $1,000.
Okay, did you get that, Carl?
Yes, I did. And then as I remember it. So if we want to take another vote, that's fine. But I'd like to go forward with this and authorize them to have it installed. And my recommendation location is that corner. If the other select board members find a better location, I'm fine with that.
I would go with my original recommendation, which was the recreation department where it can actually be used, because we don't have TV service in this room, we don't have TV service in this town. We're using this strictly as a monitor. It's not a TV, it's strictly a monitor. And we've had, this year, we had one presentation, which is kind of unusual. We had it last meeting.
Correct.
Typically during the year, we have maybe one presentation that's done via projector or whatever. So that TV could be used once a year. I'd really like it to be somewhere where it's used, gets actual use. And I don't recall the vote. It would have to have been in March.
It was in April
April.
10th. Up to $1,000.
April?
April 10th. I kind of feel like Bob does. I want to see it used. If we do it, I think we have budget season coming. Generally, we print a lot of paper, and it'd be easier to follow a discussion when you see it on a screen. I think the corner back here is maybe beneficial for the audience, but from the people at the table, it may not be. We also have other boards that probably could use it through PowerPoints. The planning board has stuff that probably can be put on, as well as the ZBA, and certainly, you know, I think uses would come around. And I have been to other towns, and they have pretty sizable screens on their walls to present stuff. And Dublin was my most recent one. I don't think I've seen a TV as big as that in my life. It was huge, and they used ARPA money for it. And they do all their stuff on it in their conference room. I personally think it should be mounted under that air conditioning unit where the room has good, clear visibility of the screen. I don't think the air conditioning unit's really going to play much of a factor to it. It does generate heat, so a little cooling probably won't hurt it. I agree with Bob. I'd like to see it get used if we do. So I think to purchase it, we probably ought to figure out exactly how it's going to get used, or it's probably going to evolve, Carl. I don't think it's going to happen instantaneously. We've worked so much in the dark for so long that I think it brings out transparency in everything we discuss. And I think we got to look at what we do for size and things like that. I did do a little homework on that. And from a visibility standpoint, there's kind of guidelines for television viewing. And I think this room's probably about 30 feet long. 30 feet, Larry, roughly. So you're probably looking at a 75-inch TV, maybe even a little bit bigger, but 75 certainly, with the narrowness of this room. 75, I think a 65 is going to be a little on the small side, mainly because they measure diagonally and the vertical height would be fairly limited on a 65.
You're right, I should.
So just food for thought, but I think we should move forward with it too. We need to start doing some of this stuff, bring us into the 21st century. That's my 2 cents.
Okay.
All right. I guess I'll have to believe that there was a 2-to-1 vote. I'm sure that I was the one that was against.
All right.
Before we take a motion and move forward with this, I do have at least one public comment. If that's all right.
Sure, and in terms of its use, I'd like to address that a little bit. In terms of the size, I think we need consensus on that before we make a motion. And so I'm going to hold off on a motion on this. But the use, the fact that it has rarely been used in the past or apparently needed, I've seen a need for it with going for planning, and I've got these huge charts of that these developers are printing out, and it was probably off a computer, and a person could bring their zip drive, plug it in, and these things could be seen to the public, but usually it's just the members. As an audience member, I was never able to follow the discussion on many of these things. So I think once we have the tool, I think it will be used in the future. And that's all. I just wanted to make that comment, not to dispute the fact that yes, the last meeting we had a PowerPoint presentation, or we had a LED projector, which is pretty much going out of use nowadays with these TVs. So anyway, but I will hold off on a motion on this, and then we will maybe bring it up again when we have a better idea of what the possibilities are.
I still had public comment that I wanted to accept.
Okay, one public,
Go ahead.
Could you state
Judy
your name?
Younger, Clark,
Thank you.
reading from the April 10th minutes, donation from the Historical Society. I'll just read the last line. Bob asked if it was a motion to accept money only and not a specific use. Carl agreed that it was to accept money only. Tom seconded the motion, and the motion passed 3-0.
So this was just monies that were accepted.
That was the prior one. There was a later motion, like I say, we accepted the money, and it'll demand a future motion anyway. But there was a later meeting where we did have a motion that I recall, but it's no point arguing about it, because there's no motion going forward right now anyway.
Thank you.
But thank you, Judy.
Thank you, Judy. Had another comment?
Yeah, Roberta Acer, two things, that corner by over there, you know, we use that corner for the camera, for planning board, for videotaping, so it's, once it's set up, you know, it's not supposed to be moved. So, I mean, if you have it, not exactly a good place, and, I'm not sure about putting plans, because I think, you know, on a lot of TVs, if you're off to a side, you cannot see them, you have to be right in front of them. You know, if it's too much of an angle, just like computer screens.
That's kind of why I was saying is you need to have the right.
No, that's what I'm saying, even computer screen, you know, if you're from the side, so everybody's gonna have to get up to look at them. You know, as far as putting plans on the wall, you know, it's, I don't know how big of a TV.
That'll be up to the people. Should the TV go in here, that'll be up to the board members whether they choose to use it or not.
Yeah, I'm just skeptical on, you know.
As am I. All right, so there's gonna be no motion tonight, Kyle,
Yes,
on that?
correct.
Thank you. All right, so that's it for old business. Informational items, communication and updates. I was unable to attend the last town gown committee, but as I pointed out, I did get notes from the meeting. There was good news out of the college. They did get a brand new safety, we call it campus security, campus safety company. It's totally new. They did not carry over one employee from the old company. I got word that the past head of campus safety has been brought back. He worked extremely well with both the fire department and the police department. Put the cat down. So I'm thrilled to hear
You
that
remind me he's on speaker.
Chris Toll will be coming back, and I assume that they will appoint him back onto the town gown committee, which is a very welcome prospect in the police department, fire department. I know I'm all thrilled that Chris is going to be back. So we do have one person that may be appointed to the town gown committee that had a position before, in addition to the new president, etc. That was it for informational communication updates. Tom, Kyle, do you have anything to update?
I'm good, bud.
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We don't have it on the agenda, but any other official business to come before the board. I just wanted to bring up that there's been at least an ordering for a purchase of an air quality monitor. The way it was presented to me originally was that Kyle gave the go-ahead to buy it, which I questioned a little bit. Why did one selectman have the wherewithal to buy it? But then Laurie said that it was within her budget and that that's where the money was coming from. Well, that's fine. All right, so I questioned it a little bit why Kyle had the authority to grant permission to buy something without coming to the board. Then I found out that, it is within the budget allotted to the corner office here. I just wanted to find out, Kyle, that the purchase of this
Well, let me,
air, wait a minute, the air
Yep.
quality monitor, what are we testing for exactly? I wanted an air quality test done in the building, but that also requires airflow testing.
right.
Yeah.
And my concern that Lori was talking about, you know, we need to check this building out for air quality. And I told her that I didn't want to go forward with anything until we knew there was a problem. The fact that we could get something for $200 to test for some basic air quality issues, that would at least let us know if we wanted to go forward. So my concern was getting ahead and looking at the idea of redesigning the building or checking the ventilation, which could run into tens of thousands of dollars without having any knowledge. And so when we had this alternative, I said, yeah, go ahead and buy, you know, this $200 device that will basically check some basic air quality issues. Now, in terms of what the details are, I don't know all the details of it, and maybe Lori knows a little more.
Yes, Carl, if I could just correct you, I did not ask for the
Wait.
I did not ask for the air.
Oh,
I did not ask for the air quality test. Actually, when I was explaining the ventilation system and working with Mike and some people on the energy committee to get a quote on a design for the ventilation system,
Right.
Bob actually was the one that asked and suggested an air quality test. So we reached
yeah,
out.
I remember that.
So we reached out
Yep.
to Dwight on our energy committee, and he put us in touch with Margaret Dillon, and Margaret suggested,
Right there.
suggested, sorry, I
It
almost
was
got
right
started
there.
with lightning. Margaret suggested purchasing the machine. It was $238, I believe. She's recommended doing this, purchasing that over hiring a company to come out and do a one-time air quality test for $300. The unit costs $238 within our budget, and you know, you said go purchase it, so I purchased it. So it was not, I did not recommend getting it. That was all done, you know, just with the design to see where we are. But we can use the monitor in any of the buildings. So Dwight is going to be monitoring, using that and logging all that stuff. So that's where that came about.
And yes, if I mangled your explanation, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted
Bob's question was, what is it monitoring?
what types of testing does it do? I mean,
It's,
It
I
could be-
looked at it, Bob, it's a pretty simple device, because I kind of saw the email chain. Basically, you put it in a room and you can actually graph what the CO2 levels are, the temperatures, humidities, things like that. So it's a fairly simple device, it's pretty recommended from what I could see
all right,
in my research.
also check for VOCs.
It'll tell
Quality.
you, well, I
Organic
think it,
compounds.
no, I don't think that's the kind of test we're looking for, but it may. I have to be honest with you, I don't recall what the specifics of its testing is. I know it's doing CO2,
Yeah.
which is
We should
pretty
have-
important.
should have CO2 monitors in the building already.
Well, no, we have CO2 detectors, but we don't monitor the levels.
Kevin Bernard said CO.
Yeah.
Sorry.
CO2 is what they measure.
No,
CO.
CO.
Right.
Monox.
All right. Then there's another test too, which is particulates in the air. They call it PM2.5. I guess that's 2.5 milligrams. And radon testing, but radon testing is a long-term test in the building. You have to gather information over a long period of
It
time.
gets absorbed and tested, yeah.
I just want to make sure what may be the problems. I did look at quickly, home monitoring, home testing, and these are the things they recommend to test for. And quick solutions to the problems, and kind of the quick solutions to the problems that should be done. It's just opening up some windows and putting in some fans and circulating some air. I can recall the last time I saw a window open in this building, and it was that one. Because it was a hot summer night and we didn't have the AC. And that was the last time I remember a window being open in this entire building. So anyway, that's
I know, I've seen them open since I've been selected, so.
Anyway, I just wanted to get that out, because I was a little confused about what the hell was going on, and just to make sure that we're doing testing for what we can test for. And the radar, unless we leave it there for 6 months or so, we're not gonna have an accurate level on that.
And the ventilation system, looking back on the 2011 energy studies that were done on all the buildings, that was the first step in the town office building. That's why they didn't want to tighten up this building for energy purposes, was because the ventilation was so bad. So
That was their opinion.
correct.
Their thoughts were that the ventilation was bad, but their energy people too.
Well, if you tighten it up, you don't get any exchange of air.
That's correct.
Pretty simple. So that's why they said you're better off having it a little loose, so you do get fresh air into the building.
Probably getting a lot more fresh air. All right, anyway, that's why I brought it up. Just wanted to let you all know.
For $200, we can see what it does. I think it's a good, at least it's a start.
Give it a shot.
And, better than spending a consultant thousands of dollars to do what you're asking for in an industrial way, so.
So do we have any other official business to come before the board?
I have nothing.
Further, nothing.
All right, I'll declare this meeting adjourned at 7:05.
Are we gonna go to the public? No.
Oh, yeah, let's make a motion, before we, I want to make a motion to go into non-public session, pursuant to 91A32A employee. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Carl, you're not going to be able to participate remotely at the non-public session, so I'll take a vote. All's in favor? Aye. Bob Hamilton?
Aye, Tom Corey.
Thank you. We'll go into non-public session.
Judy, you stop.